This part of the Star Cruiser commentary is brought to you by Super TNT 94. Since 2010, Royameadow Generation 3 co-head administrator Troy Gooscott has been covering game reviews and anime highlights, among other things, at the local level. To watch his material, you may find it right here on YouTube. When you hear a boom, you know it's Super TNT. Welcome to the second half of the Star Cruiser commentary. We're in part 5, and we're about to go into some plot for the most part. Plot I've mentioned for the past few parts. I'm currently running on no fan cooling right now in my room. I'm completely on passive cooling, only got a little thing to damper it there in the background. We have once again hit 89 degrees Fahrenheit in my room. The warmest it has ever gotten. And the last time this happened was in 2018 when we had that extreme heat with the triple digits. Man, that was a brutal time, without a doubt. And the difference this time is, we don't, actually no, I take it back. This room, this bedroom of mine, which also is my recording room, it stores humidity to the maximum. Even if it's completely dry outside, like, alright, let me hit up the weather app right now. Microsoft Network Weather is saying that we have 69% humidity, it is 85 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and we have 11 miles an hour for wind speed, but it still feels like 92. That is ultimately because we have a big anus cloud of haze completely coating the area. That's how bad it is right now. So I'm actually waiting to see if this if the thermostat will hit 90 for the first time, because we've never hit 90 in this house. Maybe other parts of the room, the house have hit 90, but not my bedroom. It's kind of like how whenever you decide to take a look at any news report in Boston, any weather report in Boston, if it tells you the temperature for Boston, that's Logan Airport. Logan Airport's over by the waters. Of course it's gonna be cooler. I know they've hit 100 plus, I know they've hit 100 plus a few times before, but I wouldn't exactly know how many times they've done that. But, oh, that's right. The reason why this episode is titled the way it is. Yep, meet the only black man in the universe. And I literally mean the universe. He's the only black man you'll ever see in this entire game. And they make him a drunk. Why? Why do you have to make the only black man in the universe the drunk? That's not... I do not ever remember there being a stereotype, any kind of black stereotype in any kind of work, regardless of what genre it is, where they just happen to be the universe drunk. That doesn't make sense to me. And they just so happen to make him overweight. Not 100% Fat Albert style overweight, but still in an unreasonable amount, an unreasonable manner to no end. I really can't stop looking at the... I think we hit 90. Nope. If we hit 90, it's just gonna keep going back and forth between 89 and 90. I am getting really anal about this. Cannot stress that enough. It's like I have to keep my eyes on this, because I'm constantly looking back. The thermostat's behind me. 3,000? 3,000 for Fat Albert's beer? Ugh. Okay, not Fat Albert, but still. 3,000, that's pretty ridiculous for a bar tab. But then again, it is the 2400s. Who knows how much beer's inflated since then? Either way, though, with the details that we know now, we can head to Kai. So, first things first, we want to make sure that we have as much fuel as possible. So, best bet is to head to Pride. Yeah, head to Pride so that you can completely restock your fuel. If you need to get any extra resources, I think you can get missiles here? I don't remember, though. That's a simple name for a bar. Park. Hey, Brian's always welcome. Sounds good to me. And yeah, if memory serves correct, am I making save states here? Yeah, I probably made a save state there. So yeah, you have to go over here. You do have to move some of these coniferous trees. If it says looks like trees, that means you can move it. And here we go. So now we are at the Pride Archaeology Research Institute. So this basically gives you information about the warp device on Barbarian. You need to go here before going to Barbarian, or else you probably won't be able to get the details that you need. Yeah, if not, I think that the woman that looks like Yuko is probably still going to be there. But that's to be expected. It's to be expected. Can't do sequence breaking in a game like this. Because, again, if you sequence break in a game such as Star Cruiser, you really can mess up the plot, or at least glitch up the game to the point where it's impossible to play. You can get Booster 2 here, but it doesn't really matter. But 300 credits for our decoy flare? That's too much. That's way too much. At least it's not like the game That's Too Much on The Price is Right. Yeah, anybody remember That's Too Much? That game is so brutal. Because, alright, for those that are unaware, if you play on the... Yeah, if you're ever on The Price is Right, and you know That's Too Much, so you're given 10 prizes. I mean, 10 prizes. 10 prices for a car. Every single time you say more, you end up going up a price. You have to be able to get the first price above the actual retail price of the car. Or else what will happen, took intentional damage there. Yeah, or else what will happen is it'll be considered way too much, or perhaps even way too little, and the game is over. That and Time is Money are probably the two hardest games in the 2000X era of The Price is Right. If I'm ever on that game show for whatever reason, I would not want to have either or. I would rather have Plinko with the old Family Feud theme. Yeah, that's right. Those of you that might not know... Oh, yeah, by the way, you gotta move some rocks. What some of you might not know is that the theme used for Grand Game, and also originally when Plinko first came out, it was actually the ending to the original Family Feud theme. It's not something a lot of people might know about, but it is a key detail that must be kept in mind. By the way, unless you're speedrunning, yeah, you pretty much don't have to worry about all these other trees and rocks, but it's just better to move them. You can't move that one though, but you saw the warp device there. And, invisible wall. And here you go. So how do you use this? You hit the move button, just like everything else. So Barbarian has officially been moved over to what is now identified as Transporter. Since you're now at Transporter, quote unquote, you now can go inside the ring and deal with Kai. And we found Gibson. Apparently he's a bit worried. And rightfully so. It's kind of interesting that the Gibson would even be here. He warns Brian of Void soldiers being there. So stay away if you value your life. Why would he tell Brian this, of all people? Didn't he want to destroy Void? I guess we shall find out in maybe later on this part, maybe even in part 6. But you'll learn soon enough. Either way, so now here we are on Kai. It's mostly red. And we have a lot of Breas to deal with. If memory serves correctly, I think only Brea is the enemy. Yeah, I think Brea is the only enemy that you have to worry about here. Now, the way that I am taking on Kai is actually a bit different from the way that I had taken on Kai when I first did this. Initially, what I was doing was I was constantly going back for missiles. But, of course, that was the slower method. I even tried to do a bit of a roundabout tactic with this area. You don't have to do that. And the reason for that is because you'll run out of energy faster that way. So you're just better off. You're better off taking the path that I am. So what you have to do, you have to find the warp, the warp elevator. Or the warp pad, or whatever it's called. I think it's called a warp pad. I'm not exactly sure though. Either way, once you find that, then you'll end up finding Max. Make sure to turn around when you do so, though, or else you will miss him. I made the mistake of doing that. That was... oh my goodness, that was brutal the first time I experienced that. Because the situation is, once you get to where you have to go, it's a one-way path. It's a one-way path, so if you miss your shot, you have to go all the way around and also destroy a whole bunch of Breas alongside with this. So here we go, here's the warp. And as I said, turn around. There is Max. Yep, Brian's too late. Max is on the verge of death. He is about to be put into physical retirement, and man does it hurt. So Void has spies. He's also talking about Gabby and also in some ways Gibson. He also mentions about Lean Kirk and also Foul Egg. This is a clear indication that now you have to go to Foul Egg, which effectively is what this part is. It's the Foul Egg Saga. The Foul Egg Saga, so we have to head there no matter what. So, now as for getting out of here, let's just hope I think we're gonna run out of missiles before we do so. The fortunate thing, however, is I actually had to rehearse this because I don't remember. I honestly did not remember where you have to go on Kai, but I knew that no matter what, I would run out of my missiles. But taking the path that I am is ultimately the wise choice here. Sure, you're gonna run out of missiles, but you'll still get out of here with a reasonable amount of energy in which you can land back on Pride without getting a game over. Because that's all that ultimately matters. Yes, I have 99 deuter ores. Am I making a save state? I think I made a save state just in case. Because again, I don't trust this area. You can easily run out of energy here, especially if you've completely upgraded to the gravity gun by this point, specifically gravity gun 1. You basically have to make sure that you're well defended. Well defended, and make sure that your strategy is right. Like, see there? You always make sure you get a quick kill on one of the Breas. If you can get a quick kill on both, or all three in the event that there ever is a 3-unit fight, then yeah. Yeah, same situation. You know, the interesting thing about Kai is that I would have thought it would have been much more blue and red as opposed to just straight up red. Because, I mean, this blood red kind of can be a bit a bit disturbing. Like, imagine if Star Cruiser were brought back on something such as RSDK. and all the walls could be textures as opposed to monochromatic walls, I fear very much that Kai would probably be an area that would have, like, gray brick walls, white or gray brick walls, and probably a lot of blood on it. Probably the blood of people that were trying to get to Kai and ultimately failed, or made it there and got assassinated by the Void soldiers. Oh crap, I did not mean to fight there. Get out of there. Yep, that happens too. That's part of the reason why I kind of don't like the hitbox detection of this game. Because you swear you didn't touch something, and you probably touched it. Either way, though, I've got about, what is this, like 15,000 in energy? I think we're okay now, so... On back to Barbarian. We are still at 89. I at least want to hit 90 degrees before the end of this part. I mean, it's a 57-minute part. Oh, speaking of things that are going on, it's currently 7:27 p.m. right now. It's July 30. You know, the Democratic debates are going on tonight. On CNN! Why do you need to have cable to watch a debate? Yes, I know you can stream CNN. Yes, I know you can use third-party websites to stream CNN. But I don't want to have to stream the debates. I want to be able to just watch it on regular network television without the need of having to get a certain subscription service or a cable service. You know, I'll tell you this. From what I know, back in the 40s and 50s, or, yeah, 40s to 70s actually, allegedly cable was supposed to be free. But what happened, of course, network companies got too greedy for the concept. So what ended up happening? Well, it's exactly what you think. Now people have to pay hundreds of dollars a year, or tens of dollars a month is probably what I meant to say, but so hundreds of dollars a year just to be able to get all the channels you can possibly get from a service. What I would love to see the internet do is this. And I know that some concepts for this have existed for a while, but none are 100% set in stone. A website where you can, in 60 frames per second, mind you, in HD and 60 frames per second, mind you, be able to stream every single station, regardless of where you are in the world. So, like, for example, if I wanted to watch KTVT, what is that, CBS 11 News, right? CBS 11 News in Fort Worth, Dallas, and all of North Texas. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that I remember that. Yeah, KTVT is CBS 11, and then I think KCNC is CBS 4 in Denver. Let's see. Yep, Denver. Or if I wanted to say watch WQED in Pennsylvania or KQED in San Francisco, instead of watching WGBH, I would love that. I mean, it's a concept. I mean, it would allow me to be able to see what's going on in other regions. What if I don't want to know what's going on in Massachusetts news because it's constantly redundantly reported across, like, what, 7 different networks now? Because we have CBS 4, WCVB, News Center 5, ABC Boston, let's see, WHDH 7, NBC 10 Boston, WFXT Fox, sorry, Boston 25, I'm never going to get used to that, New England Cable News. I swear there's a 6th network, but I don't know which one it is. Wait, did I say 6th or 7th? 7. Meant 7. I know there's a 7th network, but I can't remember it right at the moment. I'll figure it out. And no, I do not mean UPN. Oh, by the way, yeah, you can leave foul egg at any time before interacting with this guy. If you interact with this guy on Planet Egg, you have to go through all of Foul Egg. So you start off on Planet Egg and then you warp to Planet Foul, and you basically go between the two. And yes, Foul Egg is based on chicken and the egg. So either way, you basically have to go through here by foul means, if you catch my drift. Foul means. Well, of course, you have to pay 16,000 credits every single time you want to refill your homing missile 2 here. This air bubble. This area is just as bad as Gargantua in the Barnard system. Gargantua, don't get me wrong, you can get through that with the quickness. But Foul Egg, the remainder of this part is me going through Foul Egg. So you better make sure that you have the money you necessarily need. Now here's something I'm about to do. So, we're about to come up to this guy, and he asks for 500 credits. So I say yes here. So we try to get some information, but it doesn't really... thing is, I don't know if that affects the plot or anything, because to my knowledge it didn't. Still 89. To my knowledge, I don't know if talking with that guy ever helps. But while we're here, if you do still need Analyzer 2 and an Ore Converter 2, now you can convert heavy ores. But since we already had gotten Converter 3, it doesn't really matter. But look at that. Homing Missile 2, 200 credits per unit. Ugh. That really looks bad. I mean, at least the 8-shot 2 makes sense. And speaking of which, even though I don't use the 8-shot, 8-shot 2 kills it's actually an instant kill on enemies that you have to deal with on Hurricane. So that is some good advice if you ever are doing this and you happen to be doing a speedrun that involves 8-shot. But of course, again, I find homing missiles to be more convenient, just because of their accuracy. I would rather have something with good shot accuracy than something that has a significant chance of missing. And yes, even though I get 8-shot 3, you'll notice I don't use it. It's just for quote-unquote 100% completion, or at least item collection. Oh my goodness. They even gave him the accent. They even gave not Fat Albert the accent, trying to push away the rock, because it blocks the view. Oh my goodness. Again, I love Celcion and his translation team, man. It's little bits such as this that make this translation all the more better. That's how you say more better properly. Because I've said more better a few times over the years. I said it in the original Project MD 2012 commentary, and I did the same thing during Sonic Hacking Contest 13 Done Quick, but that was completely by accident in the way that I did it. Oh, by the way, those slightly jade green and green pieces of building, those are the only ones you can push. You also have to go... There's an invisible wall here that you have to deal with. And also a Coronelia 1. Why there would be a Coronelia 1 here anyway is beyond me. I mean, watch how fast these guys go down now. They go down rather quickly once you have Booster 3. Oh my goodness. And that's Groovy. I think Groovy's a new one, right? Or did I just so happen to overlook a good amount of the material from the previous part? Because I honestly forgot. I honestly probably forgot some details. But either way, Groovy goes down with the quickness if you have Booster 3, so no pressure. No pressure one single bit. I think I'm making a save state here, because this is also an area you can get a bus error issue after you're done. After you're done with this area. So this is Lean Kirk, who just so happens to also look like General Arceus. What's up with all these General Arceus lookalikes? It's just data limitations. I'm sure they would have had more art styles for all the characters if this game came out in 1996. How many times do I have to repeat that? Despite how revolutionary this title was for 1988 and 89, I really do wonder how a definitive edition of this would look. I really do. So, yeah, at this point, Lean Kirk is probably under the impression that, he's under the impression that he was probably murdered by Brian, which ultimately is not the case. That's not the case. And I think, yeah, this is probably right. Yeah, this is where he makes the assumption. Ugh. Calm down already. It wasn't me, and I'm not here to kill you. Didn't he ask you to store something? Files to someone else, huh? You'll learn about, you'll learn about who the file was obtained by. So, DG. There are only 2 people in this game at this point named DG. Daniel Gibson and Diana Gaddis. Ha! There's the Dolce & Gabbana joke. He dumps that it's about clothing. Yes, I enforced the B in Delpt. Yes, I know that the B is allegedly silent, but of course, you know, I'm just somebody. This is a force of habit with me. There are scenarios where I have to pronounce a word as it is spelled. Because yes, even though the B comes out as a P almost, for some reason it just feels wrong without the B being pronounced. It's kind of like receipt. Receipt. I pronounce it with the P. I cannot say receipt. That doesn't sound right. It does not sound right. It sounds like receipt, R-E-S-E-A-T, made a new save state. And it just feels out of place. Very out of place. By the way, once you've talked with Lean Kirk a 3rd time, yeah, that's all you get. After that, it's going to be a bus error once the Barnard system is unlocked. So then we have to talk with this man. So, as you know, right now we're having trouble going to Foul. You have to bribe the people at the main control tower or whatever. Yeah, the higher ups, the government office, the government tower. That's what it is. If memory serves correctly, all you have to pay is like roughly about, I want to say anything between 1,000 and 1,500 credits. Let's see what Brian has to pay here, because it is around that number. No, you don't need to repair your shield, but we do need to refill. We're low on fuel. We didn't mean to add 1,000. By the way, if you hit energy full there, it is a glitch. It will assume that you're paying 680 as opposed to 580. Okay, so now as we go into here. Oh, by the way, I'll talk about the 580 next. You know what I mean when I say 580. Don't think you don't know. Of course it's easy. So let's see. So the price is going to be maybe 1,500. I think it's 1,500 here, and I think possibly 2,000 or so. We're still at 89. Oh my goodness. Once we get to once we get to Foul. So now we're at Foul, and it looks like sunset. But that's to be expected because of the palette of the planets. So, first things first, so the reason why I brought up 580, the AMD Radeon RX 580. Now, as you folks know, I intend to gut out all my PCs and turn them into workstation grade sleepers. Now, initially the plan is, of course, to have a Quadro RTX 8000 in all of these. Now, bear in mind, these are micro ATX desktops. The issue, however, is the Hewlett-Packard Pavilion 590. This P0057C variant, of course, the issue with the 590, of course, is that it's very small. And I mean very small. I'd say it's roughly an inch in width, smaller than the Lenovo Ideacenter H5050 and the eMachines ET1331G-07W. Because of the way that the optical drive, I might have to take out the optical drive, and the way that the hard drives are placed, I ultimately cannot put a 10.5-inch graphics card in this because it's just too big. I would have to opt for a bigger case in that situation. So, and also because of the fact that there aren't a lot of mini ITX options for Quadros, especially at the RTX level. This ultimately means that in terms of the strongest graphics card I can put in this, barring a power supply upgrade, I could put in either Gigabyte's Mini ITX 2070 or MSI's Aero ITX RTX 2070. And if not that, then the cheapest option that you can get, no, it's not the 1070, but the cheapest option that you can get at workstation grade or mid-tier workstation grade at the consumer level would have to be MSI's Aero ITX Radeon RX 580 V1. Specifically the 8GB variant. There is no 4GB variant. I think it's the Radeon. Well, you know, I have the Amazon page here. I can read it for you. MSI Gaming Radeon RX 580. Oh no, hold up. No, I'm right. The RX 580 GV1. Yeah, it's considered an MSI gaming card. But yeah, the way that it looks, I mean, compared to the original 580, this is a baby. It's a baby. Let's see, the product is roughly, 7.79 inches by 157 by 441. That's perfect for what I need. If I couldn't opt for, say, Gigabyte or MSI's RTX 2070 in mini ITX form. Which, oh, it doesn't even have the dimensions for this thing. Oh, no. No, this is for MSI's variant. I'm sure the Gigabyte's variant is, 6.69 inches. 6.69 by 476 by 165. That's reasonable. That's more than reasonable for a size. Plus, considering the fact that the 1070 is priced around the 2060, the 2060 variant of this mini ITX by Gigabyte, you're better off just paying the $451.50 or more, depending on where you get it, for a Gigabyte's card. It's just much more convenient. But again, that's assuming that you're working with it micro ATX. This is technically micro ATX, but because of the way that it's shaped, I simply can't put a really large graphics card in here. So, yeah, mini ITX would be the way to go with this. So if I can't get the Quadro RTX 8000 in here, or even the 4, 5, and 6000, the 4000 can't even fit in this because of how big it is. Like, the only way I would be able to use a Quadro RTX on this, or basically any Founders Edition card, it would have to be open bench. And I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do that with with a chassis like this. I know it's chassis, but chassis just sounds better. So yeah, so to go to the artificial satellite is the warp gate right behind us. But if you wanted to head out, you have to head out the same way you came. But yeah. And then, as for other things, at least with the Pavilion 590, if the 9900K is not a feasible option, then for an H370 compromise option, I basically have to opt for 9900 no suffix. Which, when it first came out, the 9900 no suffix actually was priced at what was it? It was priced at $399 even. Yep, you have to unlock that gate. There, the Meister for this area is stuck there. But we're heading down because we're running out of weapon. But yeah, the 9900 no suffix was priced at about $399 in the US when it first came out. If you were in, I think Denmark, in Danish krones, somebody ended up managing to get a 9900 no suffix for about $261 US. Since those early days, however, of the 9900 no suffix's release, it has since been put back up to its base 439, and I accidentally went out the wrong warp gate. Went through the wrong warp gate, so now I have to go back here. Small waste of fuel, but doesn't matter. I've got all the money in the world. But yeah, to know that is ultimately a shame. It's a shame that it couldn't stay at $399, because it ultimately was giving the 9700K, which, mind you, it was priced at $409 at the time. It basically was giving the 9700K a sense of pointlessness at the $409 price tag, which felt weird. It feels very weird for a stronger tier card. I mean, not a stronger tier card. No, for an overclockable Intel chip to be more expensive than its i9 counterpart. An overclockable i7 to be more expensive than its i9 counterpart. But then again, i7s have always had a bad rap for having ridiculously high prices. And again, I forgot the Meister. I have to go back in. Yep, this is right when I forget. And yeah, I have to head back. So I think what I'm going to do here is refill. So yeah, so again, the 9900 was $399, the i7 was $409. But in terms of like legacy i7s, like if you wanted to get the 980X, the 980X on Amazon at least can go for ridiculously high prices, sometimes over $1,000. The 990X, which is the optimized version of, what was that? I don't think it was Nihalem. It wasn't Nihalem, was it? I'm trying to remember here. Okay, okay, WikiChip, thank you. Westmere. Yeah, the 990X will usually go for cheaper than the 980X in most scenarios because the 990X isn't in such high demand. Now, from what I know based on what user benchmark has mentioned, the 990X at optimal spec appears to be on par with 8400, which is of course the processor I'm currently using. But yeah, but even at that, the 990X, depending on where you get it from, can be unreasonably expensive. But it's better than what options you get for the 980X. The 4790K, especially if you can get it refurbished, is usually in a reasonable price tag. The 5775C, however, Yes, the Broadwell chip that has the EDRAM. That and the 5675C, which is the i5 piece, that's fine. That's fine most of the time in this price point. But you're only going to be able to get a cheap 5775C for under $400, mind you, if you go to Newegg. I cannot stress that enough. You have to go to Newegg to get a cheap 5775C. But as for the HEDT parts, you know, Skylake X is still reasonably expensive for obvious reason. You know, the 7980XE still reigns supreme in its own right. 2000. Yep, there it was. But of course, at this point, if you're going for like true workstation potential, for most people, if they're sticking with Intel, it's probably going to be 3175X or bust. That is, however, if you're willing to get, what is it, the Dominus Extreme? Is that what it's called? The Asus, the Aorus Dominus Extreme, or whatever the duck it's named? I honestly forget. Yep, there's the key, and now we can go to this other area. I think we're about to get unavoidable. No, we got the upgrade. So I think we do have to come back here again in order to unlock the other gate, so that we can then go to the other side. The other side and take on the leader of whoever's here. But even at that, like if you're at the consumer grade, you're probably not going to opt for a 3175X. Speaking of which, I honestly don't know what kind of upgrades Cascade Lake has over Skylake or Coffee Lake. I'm not even going to put Cabby Lake in the mix, because Cabby Lake, to my knowledge, was kind of the... It's an underrated architecture, but nowhere near what 14 nanometers could truly do. And yeah, this is where you can get 8-shot to, what did I say, Radar 3? Yep, so once you get Radar 3, you're able to see as much of the map as you can. It's not 100%, but it's better than nothing. But either way, it will be interesting, however, to see what happens with Cascade Lake for the HEDT parts, assuming that we're even getting Cascade Lake. Coffee Lake X probably would have been a better option, because, don't get me wrong, yes, Skylake ran hot. Coffee Lake can run hot when under the wrong resources. But I think that if Intel, had they dealt with 14 nanometers at the HEDT level with Coffee Lake in the way that they intended to, they probably would have been able to get some benefit out of it, and it would have definitely made for a better Intel Core Extreme Edition 9000 series, or X Series 9000 lineup. Because just doing a refresh of Skylake X was ultimately a mistake, in my view. I'm sure there might be people that could say otherwise, but I still feel that Coffee Lake would have just been the better option. There probably would have been far better performance differences between that and between the 9980XE and the 7980XE had it been given that treatment. But unfortunately, I guess the world will never know. Unless if somehow, like, Intel's patents well down the road end up dying out. And then we could just, like, if we knew what we were doing, make our own custom chips. Because don't get me wrong, I am extremely curious as to what the Core i9-8900K would have been like. Probably would have been clocked similar to the 8086K, but it probably would have been with 8 cores and 16 threads, or maybe just slightly weaker than the 9900K, or maybe no, 4990K doesn't exist, right, for Haswell? I don't think it does. If a 4990K existed for Haswell, I'd be surprised. Nope, it's only showing me 4790K. And I'm looking through the Linus Tech Tips forum here. Oh, apparently the 4990K did exist. As a typo. As a typo in the main gear redline overclocking service. I don't know what that happens to be. But yeah. But to my knowledge, i9s didn't exist until at least generation 7 with Skylake X. I mean, heck, there was a 6900K, but even that was an i7. And we are out of weapon. So, yes, I could just go and defeat the rest of these guys with the quantum gun, but, you know, I am not in the mood to have to do that. So I'm gonna spend 16,000 more credits just so I could get through this without having to guzzle out my energy. That doesn't hurt to repair the shield. Alright. I'm sweating much more now. Fortunately, I'm okay, though. I'm completely okay. It is still 89 degrees! We're at 7:57 p.m. now, and it's still 89 degrees. This room will not hit 90! As much as I complain about this house having bad insulation, the one thing I will credit it for is that it will handicap the temperature at no higher than 89 for this room. If we hit 90, that's gonna be a record. We already tied the record from 2018, but that's why I really hope that we can hit this. Sure, sure, hitting 90 would be a bad thing, but it wouldn't hurt to at least see it. I want to at least see it in action. And no, I am not planning to set my thermostat to 90 degrees. That would just be flat out insane. Why would you want to have on the radiator when it's this warm? I mean, unless if it's raining and it's extremely warm outside. I mean, heck, the Middle East does hit about 150 degrees in some areas. To my knowledge, anyway. Eventually, however, as they did mention, by 2050, if global warming keeps happening in the way it does, the Middle East will eventually hit that 150 degree average, I think, for every single day almost, which ultimately would make it uninhabitable. That's why areas such as India, yes, is India technically considered the Middle East? If not, I apologize. But that's why Dubai, for example, they're trying to create climate control for their area, if they haven't done it already. The concept art looks beautiful. It's dome-like. It's exactly what my plan for Lynn would have been. No, would be if I were mayor here. Or if I were governor of Massachusetts, I probably wouldn't mind doing the same thing. Sure, it would probably look weird having a grid hanging up in the sky, but still. At least we would be able to lock the temperature at 60 degrees for daytime and 42 degrees for night. Or probably something a little more reasonable, just to make sure that certain plants stay alive. But here's the thing, I mean, if we locked our temperature at 60 for air and 42 for night, yeah, 60 for air during the daytime, 42 for night, air during the night, I think that we probably could do extremely well. We could actually have certain animals and plants that wouldn't normally show up around here. Though that probably might invite some more bears and moose. I still feel, that feels weird for me to say in the way I just did. Because if you remember a certain episode of Fetch with Ruff Ruffman, moose is the plural of moose. Kind of like I think how sheep is the plural of sheep. Is that correct? Because I've never heard anybody say sheeps. I've only ever heard them say sheep. But either way. So I don't really know what to compare these particular enemies to, but the fortunate thing is, especially if you're playing the game at 10 or 16.7 megahertz, these enemies actually do go down rather quickly with the quantum gun, but at 25, you can tell these guys are dodgers. Not the LA Dodgers, but they're dodgers regardless. Didn't I have... Oh yeah, you know, since I said that Foul has that, yeah, Foul has the Sunset palette, and this base here also has the Sunset palette. It's kind of a nice touch. It's as if the game was self-aware of the time of day that it's supposed to be. The only question is, because this is a dual planet, how is there even sunlight? Does it happen to be similar to the way it's handled on Earth, in which there's only one sun? From the looks of it, it doesn't even appear as if there's moons either. But that could probably be just because of the fact that, who knows? Maybe dual planets, because of their orbit, can't have moons. Maybe there are dual planets out there that do have moons. I wouldn't know, though. Yes, I do study astronomy, but I don't study it religiously, so I wouldn't 100% know what to expect. I apologize. Wow. Wow, my tangent about Intel Core actually helped. We're down to only 5 minutes and 7 seconds, yes, 7-hand, left in the commentary, or at least for this part. So either way, this is the guy that we have to take on, or at least the leader of this whole reason for why the Civil War started. But fortunately, once you get him in a lock in a corner, you can really work wonders with them, regardless of which gun you're using. If you're using Quantum with Booster 3, or if you're using the Gravity Gun 1. But I prefer a Quantum Gun with Booster 3 just because it feels faster. Ah, the Mystery Man. He's 100% black. Me too. I haven't even played Deus Ex, keep in mind. I love its music. I've watched gameplay of it. But oh my goodness. Alright, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, watch a video called I Think My Deus Ex Is Broken. I think that's what it's called. So, let's see. Where is it? I think my Deus Ex is broken. I can't type with one hand faster than my, faster than how I speak. Yeah, it's called I Think My Deus Ex Is Broken. Brought to you by PCG Heroes. Really great program involving, involving highlights from all the, or at least all the then popular Deus Ex mods. I wonder how all those scenes would look with Deus Ex Revision. If I ever do get around to Deus Ex, I don't know if I'm going to be playing Revision, or if I'm going to play Revision with the original game's soundtrack. We'll figure out that when the time comes. I mean, the first instance of Deus Ex showing up on this channel was actually Kate Fairbanks versus various artists, Healing Echoes, the music video. That was probably one of the smartest ideas that I had. Because honestly, I mean, it just fit perfectly with the original 2017 version of Echoes, which fortunately was archived on Vimeo. Oh my goodness. The amount of tracks that Kate Fairbanks has yet to archive properly, at least from her legacy material, because Just Another Day, Broken Wing, Stickers, Honesty, Hiding Place is gone, Echoes on SoundCloud is gone, a good amount of her covers from 2013 and 14, yeah, 2013 and 14, all gone. Lost to the Fabric of Time. Michael Mayhew's The Red, which was a 2012 short, I think it was roughly 5 minutes long, featured Kate as the main character, handling a demon. that's also missing too. A lot of her material needs to be archived in some form, and that's why I'm glad that, I'm probably the only person right now in the Kate Fairbanks remixing community. There used to be a few people many years ago, back in at least 2014 and 15, that did mixes of her work, but that's missing now. That's completely lost to the fabric of time, and if you can find it, the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive Wayback Machine, does not have that material. You know what? I might have to hit up make or make, whatever that name is on Reddit, because he or she or it downloaded the over 900 terabytes worth of material from SoundCloud when there was fears of SoundCloud probably shutting down. I think due to bankruptcy. What was this, in like 2017? Either way, if he happens to have at least Just Another Day, Broken Wing, and stickers, those probably won't show up in Healing Echoes DX if I ever do any mixes. They'll probably show up in Fairness, very likely Fairness, or whatever the third mashup mix album is after Fairness. So, yeah, you got Headaches, Fairness, and then whatever's next. But we're done here. We are done with this part. This is the shortest part of the entire commentary. It's 8:07 p.m. I think I can pump out part 6 right now. I think, you know what I'll do is I'll pump out part 6 because Blood and Treasure doesn't show up for a bit. So, we'll be fine. I'll be fine, you'll be fine, we'll all be fine. Enjoy a music video! Either way, enjoy the music video, whatever this is. I haven't made the mix for it at the time of this recording, but by the time that it's here, you get to enjoy it. So enjoy it. See you in part 6.